Hi, welcome to part 2 of the Sports Psychology Library demo. As I mentioned before, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Psychology Database Collection, Google Scholar with library links, and Sports Psychology Theses. So let's start right away with the Psychology Database Collection. Now you may want to use this in addition to OneSearch. As I mentioned before, it's a smaller database, it's more focused, um, and it has different indexing. You may find different sources in here that you didn't find in OneSearch. So let's do the same search in here. Whoops, self-talk in sports. And you'll see here that we have a list of results. Not all of them, unlike OneSearch, not all of them are available in full text right away. So for example, this is a book chapter. You can tell because in the citation below it, it says it's in Exploring Sport and Exercise Psychology 3rd edition. So what I would do is take this information here, if I wanted this whole book, uh, or even just the chapter actually, and plug that into OneSearch and see if the book pops up. Then you would be able to get it that way. If we keep going, we get some academic journal articles. This one you could just open the PDF right away. And these have a 360 link to full text. Means that this particular database doesn't have the full text, but this 360 linker will check to see if we can get the full text from another JFK library source. So if I click this, it's actually going to open a new window and search the whole library for this article. And it's chugging away. There it is. And what it's done is it's linked us out to the Sage Publishers website. You can see we're being recognized as coming from John F. Kennedy University. And here's our article. What they give you on the landing page is just an abstract, but you'll notice over here that you can get the full text. By clicking here, it'll open the PDF, and it says free to you, and that's because it's recognizing where we're coming from. You could run across this page online from home, and if you hadn't gone through the JFKU library site, this would not be free, so that's something to keep in mind. You could refine these results by selecting full text only. But since we just saw how the 360 linker can actually connect you to other sources, that might not be wise to do unless you just wanted a quick couple of sources. So that's a very quick look at the Psychology Database Collection from EBSCO. Let's go back and now take a look at Google Scholar with library links. Now this is a public site, of course. It's just a version of Google that only searches scholarly materials. If you access this publicly, like from home and not through the library, it would not link you into the library content that we have, which is why it's important to use this specific link, because you'll be authenticated as a JFKU student. If we do this search in here, you'll get the familiar Google interface here, and you'll notice that off to the right, if it's something that we have in the library, you'll get a link to it right there, and you'll see that some items are not available from the library. But a pretty good amount are, because we do have a pretty good collection of sports psych journals. So that's just a really quick look at Google Scholar as well. Again, I recommend using all three of these things because even though this says OneSearch, there still is not truly only one place to get all information. You will probably get different results by searching these three different databases. Now you may also want to look at some examples of other sports psychology students' theses and projects. You can look at these, they're cataloged by methodology, which I think is helpful. So you could go down and look at if you wanted an example of somebody who had used content analysis on their thesis, and then we have a list here of those. And what you would do is just make a note of this call number here, and you would have to go into the library and ask for that so that you could take a look at it. And here's some further information about that. Okay, so that was just a bit of information on some other databases. I didn't mention Sport Discus. This could be a good one too. It's more on sport and fitness publications, not necessarily psychology related, but that can be a good supplemental database to search. And this ends part 2 of the orientation.